Happy February, everyone. Thank you so much for coming back. And for those of you who are new, welcome. My name is Joanna the Medium. These are going to be readings for February 2018. They are general readings, so I tap into various aspects. What I focused on the most was to give you information that will ultimately help you become a stronger individual that is able to create your abundance, your joy, and your happiness. So I always have that in mind, and Spirit will always give me information that will help you understand yourself on a much deeper level, and also help you understand where you're going and what it is that you might do in order to help you accomplish certain goals. The energy of the eclipse of January 31st came into play in these readings, and I actually talk about that extensively on the last radio show, which I have posted, and I think the link is down below for you, where I do readings and conversation with Amma, and in a second hour we talk about how the January 31st eclipse affects us personally and also globally. And I actually channeled some messages from Spirit about this eclipse, which I'm not an astrologer, and I'm confirm it, so that was actually quite neat for me. So if you want to listen to it, do so. That link is down below, and because that energy will definitely affect you for the next 6 months, and I saw the effects of it in all the readings, including the relationship readings. So many things are leaving because we are being prepared for something bigger, for something new, for something more exciting. So you might have noticed the shift of energy the last few weeks. I certainly have, which is why these videos are late, but they will also keep these energies, the shifts will transpire throughout the next 6 months or so, I've been told. These are general readings, so they may not make sense to you right away. They almost never make sense to you at the beginning, so please listen to them at the end. Also, the love readings, which I go into detail about relationships of any sort. If you would like to have that for the entire 2018, that link is down below for you, so go ahead and go there. And I think that's all I have. I want to wish you wonderful Valentine's Day if you celebrate it. If you don't, I wish you wonderful February regardless. And without further ado, of course, if you would like a private session, that information is down below. But without further ado, let's start off with your general February readings. And of course, listen to your rising sign and your moon sign, because they will often add way more information than the sun sign reading. So without further ado, let's move on to readings. Hello, beautiful Pisces. This is going to be a reading for the month of February, general reading. I have a whole bunch of cards here for you, so let's start off with some channeled messages. Okay, February seems like a lot of hard work for many of you, particularly around independence and relationships, or independence in a relationship. Now, this isn't a love reading. That love reading is on Vimeo. That information is below. So it will affect different aspects of your life. I see here that many of you are going through some significant changes. I don't feel these changes are happening in January. I feel most of them are continuation of something that transpired last year, or at least last year. With changes also come new beginnings. And I see here you have a lot of new beginnings. So there is... let me just see what I'm seeing. They're showing me it's you're tired. They're showing me you being on treadmill and then holding yourself off so you're not running again, and then you're running again. So it's a lot of hard work for many of you, or you have been doing a lot of hard work on some aspect of your life, whether it be marriage, relationship, career, whatever it may be. I also see that many of you will be experiencing what feels like completion or completing something, and we actually go into detail about that in a love reading, if it's completion around a relationship. And for some of you, I feel there are beginnings just around the corner, or they are going to transpire somewhere in February. So let's just go through the cards. The first three cards that represent your energy or what you're working towards or with, and three cards came out, so I took them. You have Seven of Cups, you have Hermit, and you have Crown Chakra in reverse. So what this is telling me, this is energy that you are working with, or the theme, if you will, for the month of February. So what this is saying to me is that if you are going to be stuck or feeling stuck in deciding between different choices, or being lost in an illusion of not knowing what to do or where to go with something, the best way to do this is to go within and connect to your higher power. Now, because this is shown to me in reverse, the one thing I want to say here is some of you may have experienced headaches, or you have been experiencing a lot of headaches, or a headache in your life which isn't a physical symptom, a pain in the butt, for so to speak. But it's showing me that there are decisions that many of you will be making, or you are waiting for someone to decide something, and while you are dealing with it, your best source of resource is going deep within, and not depending on anybody else to give you the answer. Yes, of course, you can ask, but always listen to your deeper self, because that is where the most accurate answer for you will come from. Yeah, I want to say watch for headaches. So what are you leaving behind? Very interesting. In a recent past, you have left something behind. You have emotionally walked from something. You have emotionally left something behind. You detached yourself emotionally from something. So whether you actually walked away, or whether you chose to no longer fuel some situation, emotionally speaking, you cut yourself off. This is what transpired in a very recent past. Now, what you are experiencing in February, you have two new beginnings. The first set of cards that came up are Eight of Wands in reverse and Ace of Wands upright. As a message, as a story, I can see here that if you are looking for work, or a relationship for that matter, but I want to say if you're looking for work, this is career oriented, it feels like you may have to wait a little bit longer. There's a bit of a delay. But on the flip side of things, what I do see is that many of you that have been waiting for quite some time are actually going to either land a job, land the right career, start something creative, have a creative idea, project, whatever it may be. So there's definitely a new beginning, whether it's going to happen right in February or just around the corner. There is definitely a new beginning happening. The next set of cards are Ace of Pentacles and Four of Pentacles. So again, you have another beginning. So this is the physical aspect. This is earth energy. So these are aspects of our life that we own, that we have. This can pertain to a job, money, career, but of course also relationship. So what this is telling me here, there's few things that I see. For some of you, you've been working really, really hard at trying to, you've been working really hard in order to begin something. And the something seems to be a collaboration. It is a collaboration. It is unification of two aspects. So this could be you and another person in a love relationship, as a friendship, as a co-worker, or as an employer-employee. Alternatively, what I see is that many of you are at a brand new relationship, or you are getting, you have already started something, and it's going to be a lot of hard work. So this can also signify that many of you have started a new job, and you're going to work really, really hard in order to build foundation, because this card to me signifies hard work, but this hard work will serve you going forward. So of course you can be working on a relationship, but you can also have could have started a new project, and you're working really hard on it. Because of the image that I see here, please watch your back. So if this is any physical type of work, please watch your back. I'm seeing somebody around trees. So if you are, I want to say watch for trees falling, which is, I mean, we are in winter, so just watch for that, because I'm seeing somebody walking and there are like trees falling. So if it's windy and you're around trees, just watch for that. Some of the work that you are doing in February seems to be arduous. Well, arduous is hard work, whether it is physical hard work, and I'm actually seeing somebody building something, or you are emotionally or mentally working on something. It's hard work, but it'll give you what you need going forward. So this is what I see as far as what might happen in February, or what you will be experiencing. The other thing I see here is that many of you will be working really hard on putting forth brand new foundation in your existing either relationship, work, or situation. And this is in order to stabilize your career, your relationship, to make it more solid, more stable. Because I have cards here that represent wands, a lot of it can be pertaining to career. Absolutely. Now, what are some of the things that you could expect? Actually, 5 cards came up, so I kept them all. I'm seeing it as a story, but the first card I have is King of Swords in reverse, 10 of Cups in reverse, Knight of Wands in reverse, and Palace of Wands, which is telling me a lot of it has to do with either career or relationship. And then you also have the Judgment in reverse. Okay, so what this is telling me here is that, well, 10 of Cups is a fundamental misalignment with somebody else, whether it is a relationship, whether it is a situation at work. Remember I talked about you guys are going through changes which will bring new beginnings. And you already have new beginnings. And for some of you, it's just around the corner. For some of you, this is, this is end of marriage for some of you. But that, I don't want to sound like it's, because obviously that's not going to happen to all of you. And this is a continuation of something that transpired last year. So this is not something that will happen exclusively in February. And remember, what you are leaving behind is 8 of Cups. So you may have emotionally detached yourself from something or someone, and in the month of February or shortly after, you choose to part ways. This is also equally equally important message for career. Because I have a lot of wands here, it is either about passion or a career that's driven either by passion, or it's your passion is your career. So expect to have some changes around work. Because I see 2 males around you, it is a general reading. So all I'm going to say here is that you're dealing with someone who is fairly young on one hand, but also what's for someone who's older on the other hand. So these 2 people could be in a relationship or in a work situation, or there are people from different environments. But you are definitely going to be having fundamental differences either with the King of Swords or the Knight of Swords, or with King of Wands. And that can be at work or otherwise. Now the Judgment card. Let's talk about the Judgment card. It's in reverse. So this can feel like unfinished business is what I want to say. So Judgment in general is, well, there's law. For some of you, this could be legally connected. But for some of you, it's either lacking clarity around truth, or feeling that things are unfair. There seems to also be a resistance to want to make a decision or a choice. That's how I'm seeing this. Now, this may all sound all doom and gloom, but actually doesn't, because you have beginnings here. So let me just tune into each of these cards and see if there's any additional information that is a little bit more specific here. So why is the Judgment card in reverse? So for some of you, I clearly hear that it was not ruled in your favor. So if you are dealing with some sort of a case, large or small, for some of you, it looks like it may work out, but not necessarily the way you have wanted. Doesn't mean it's bad, but you may not get everything you want. Let me see if there's anything else here. I feel like some of you are looking for proof in order to make the right choice or right decision. Now, you have the card of illusion here, and that is the theme, and the source of that question is to come from you. So if you are looking for proof from somebody else, it suggests here that there is a resistance to looking at the truth. So the message here is just whatever you are working with in the month of February, thereabouts, make sure that you don't omit important pieces of information only because it makes you uncomfortable, because you don't want to deal with it. And example, and this doesn't mean this is going to happen to you, but this is just an example. Let's say someone is getting fired from work, and they're getting fired for stealing money, but the person is not willing to admit it because, well, they're just not willing to admit it because then that would be embarrassing and the consequences would be painful. And that's a very drastic example, but this is basically saying, don't be in denial. So there's a need to see some truth somewhere, in some place of your life, or in a certain aspect of your life. And it's important for you really to listen to your intuition, because the number 9 keeps coming up over and over again. This is also time of letting some things go, and that is actually a good thing. And again, in the love reading, if this is about love, the entire energy goes into detaching from that which binds us. So this is actually very, very flowy with this, and the one that continues for love. And I think that's all I have. I want to say 4 or April. The number 4 is important, but also the month of April seems to be coming up. April, May for some of you. Whether this will make sense to you in April and May, I don't think that's the case. Or April and May is somehow significant here. There's an important piece around April, May, and the number 4. Could also be 4 years of something. Number 7. Number 7 is also being shown, but I see that often. The message is pay attention to your thoughts. Don't let them run you over. And because you are moving on from something, or have just recently moved on from something, and because there's a misalignment of values moving forward, this seems to be like a month of changes and contemplation, certainly contemplation. So make sure you look at all the pieces. But you have new beginnings. You have new beginnings. I also feel like the energy is all over the place. There are good things here happening. Bottom line, there are good things. You are changing, and with change comes, you know, sometimes we have moments where we don't know quite where we're going, so it can become a little bit uncomfortable. You have the number 55. 5 and 5 is 5 stands for changes for me. Double 5 is a lot of changes. These could be internal changes, Absolutely. But eventually they'll be external. But that adds to number 10, which is completion, in the number 1, which is a brand new beginning. So through this, you are about to have a brand new beginning, and that is fantastic. So I hope this makes sense. It makes no sense to me. And if you would like to comment on down below what that means for you, that would be fantastic. Thank you so much for watching, for sharing, and for liking. If you would like a private session, that information is down below for you. And again, for your 2018 relationship reading, that information is down below for you as well. Thank you so much. I wish you best of luck in February, and see you in March. Take care.